Red Sox insider Rob Bradford is presented by McFarland Energy, the home oil and HVAC company that Greater Boston, the North Shore, and all of Cape Cod depend on. See McFarlandEnergy.com to learn more. And Rob Bradford also brought to you by Shaw's and Star Market, perfecting the art of fresh. And he joins us this morning on the Harbor One hotline with the rich men north of Richmond in Washington, D.C. Good morning, Bradford.
Let me tell you, is Jackson on the mic? Can he talk?
He could run in and stand over Curtis and breathe on him if you'd like. You want Jackson?
Okay. I was just gonna make the offer to him that he can keep his stolen baseballs and boring sweatshirt if he yells McFarland in a more proper way than he just yelled at me.
Okay.
All right, here it comes.
I would, Curtis, if you could just slide over. Jackson, we'll give it.
Hold
on. If you would, Jackson.
McFarland.
Okay, all right. Oh, well
Not bad pipes, Jackson.
Yeah, no.
Not too bad.
It was pretty good.
All right, well,
hey guys,
Bradfo, pretty good weekend for the Sox. And where are you currently on this baseball team?
Well, first of all, I missed Friday's game. Did Chris Sale pitch well? I missed that one. Is that someone who they thought maybe they could count on at least for one start?
Are you asking anyone particular?
Is that your reporting? They could count on him for one start?
No. Well, was it the debate whether or not people were actually wondering if you could come back and count on him at all?
I don't think you can count on him the rest of the season.
I think I'm not positive, but getting the first 17 guys out in a row, I think that's good. I'm not positive.
Do you understand what reliability is, Rob, or are you that dense?
Well, again, this could go the other way, Curtis. That wasn't what the conversation.
Of course it was.
It wasn't. Your stupid argument was the fact that nobody in that clubhouse thought that he would be any good coming out of the gate.
No, that was not the argument at all. It's that you can't rely on him. That's the argument.
And you think that people in that clubhouse don't think that now?
That they cannot rely on him going forward, correct. They do not believe you can.
Oh, okay,
correct.
All right. Why would you want to rely for another start where a guy who almost pitched a no-hitter?
Do you know what rely means?
Yes. You know what relying is? Relying is on a guy who actually goes out and pitches well. And right now, it's a good place to start, my friend.
Of course it's a good place to start. I don't believe you can rely on him going forward.
Eat the L. Let's go.
Eat the L.
But
if you can... Wait, hold on. Wait 1 second. If you can rely on someone going forward, it means that you can...
It's okay, man.
Rob, it's a conversation. Okay. Thank you. If somebody is reliable, it means they show up every day for work and you can rely on them. Chris Sale has not been able to do that for 3 years.
Your argument was in that clubhouse, because you had the pulse of the clubhouse, and you said that those people didn't think that they were going to be able to get something and rely on Chris Sale.
Down the stretch,
as we sit here right now, as we sit here right now, do you think that that's how they feel?
Yes, I believe that anybody that has watched baseball the last 3 years and says they can rely on Chris Sale for any prolonged amount of time is whistling past the graveyard.
Okay, do you think the players in that clubhouse think that?
I believe that in the back of everybody's mind in that clubhouse and outside of it is someone waiting for the next shoe to fall, because whether it's a cracked rib during a lockout or there's a shoulder issue after 4 or 5 great starts, there's always something with Chris Sale now, and I think it would be laughable to say that you, quote, rely on him going forward.
But, Bradfo, if you can rely on Chris Sale and Whitlock
right,
and Story,
yep,
then I can't believe I'm saying this. I feel like you can be a playoff team.
Yeah, but I agree with this. So there's still a long way to go, because as the one part that Chris actually got right was that, in the eyes of everybody outside that clubhouse, particularly, there is that hey, what's going to happen when September rolls around? That I'm not arguing that, and we can also say that we still don't know what you're going to get out of Whitlock and Story going forward, but the initial what they've shown is certainly positive. And this team, Greg, has always been based on best case scenario. If best case scenario works for the Boston Red Sox in 2023, then you actually can compete. And so far, with those 3 guys, I think that what you've got is best case scenario, and when you go into this stretch, that's what you're going to have to continue to get. And if you get it, you're absolutely right. I mean, this was the whole Sam Kennedy mantra, right?
Yeah.
Get these guys back, we'll be okay. Well, if after this last week, it's trending in the right direction.
Bravo, it does feel like when they start getting one part right, they fall off on others. And right now it's like, okay, they got Chris Sale back, but then Bayo's last start, he hit a bump in the road. Are you worried about him at all? He's got 6 days off before his next start, so that's good.
Yeah, I mean, I would be worried, not that he's going to fall apart, but that you're going to get the guy that you're leaning on in terms of being the ace and being the top of the rotation guy, and that's where Sale comes into this. Like, if Sale can pitch like he did and continue the way that he's going, then that is a good safety net for Brian Bayo. But I think it should be a concerning thing, because if you look at the legit chances of the Boston Red Sox, part of that is having Brian Bayo at the top of the rotation, along with Paxton, along with Sale. And that isn't certainly as good as some of these other teams that you're competing with against. But if you do get a better version of Bayo, along with that version of Sale, along with what we've seen from Crawford and Paxton, then that certainly can work. But you cannot go the other way. You cannot keep trending this way with Brian Bayo.
Bradford, when you look at their next stretch where they're on the road, Washington, New York, and then obviously the Astros, the importance of the Washington and New York series, extremely important to make sure you stay within striking distance. So when you do see the Astros, maybe that's a series that if you can't sweep, you split, or if you can't win it, you want to be in a good position where you haven't given away series against, a team like the Nationals or the Yankees. Is that what the Red Sox need to focus on here moving forward?
Yeah, I think that the bottom line, Wiggy, is that you can't lose series. And you can't lose series, whether it's to the Nationals, whether it's to the Astros, or the Yankees. This is a spot that you put yourself in. They were on the verge in that Kansas City series. I mean, when Pablo Reyes hit the walk-off grand slam, I think a week ago, if they lose that game, they're 6 back, and now they're 3 back. But if you're 6 back, it seems that to me is like the Mendoza line of you've gone too far. But now they've crawled back into it. But you can't afford to lose series, whether it's any of these teams. And you're right. I mean, you especially can't lose a series to the Nationals, knowing what you have coming up around the corner, which is all these teams. These are the teams that you're competing with. So, yeah, I mean, they're just going to keep going the right direction.
Bradfo, not knowing as much about this as you do, when it comes to Major League Baseball putting Wander Franco on the restricted list, is that does that say that there is some smoke to that fire, or the other way around? I guess fire to the smoke.
I think that if there wasn't anything to it, then they wouldn't have started this investigation. In other words, it's easy to see. I think initially, this is a random. And what we're talking about, of course, with Wander Franco is there some people asserted that he had a relationship with an underage girl. And now I guess there's a report out of the Dominican Republic that they're investigating this, but not for the person who surfaced on social media initially.
Somebody else.
Somebody else, yeah. So I think that if there wasn't anything to it, if they just deemed it like, oh, this is just a random social media report, then you wouldn't first of all not allow them to go on the trip, put them on the restricted list. So we're going to have to wait this out. Now, I mean, there's been other examples in this past year where they've done investigations and guys have been cleared. Mike Clevenger of the White Sox jumps to mind, but still, it's. I don't think that this is just a random social media like or response, especially when, like you said, when the Dominican Republic authorities come out and say we're investigating for something else.
Yeah. Where do you stand, Bradfo, on the most important question facing this Boston Red Sox organization, and that is bring back the Spicy Brown Gouldens or not?
Oh, wow. I know from my days of my relationship with Awaken 180 that there's a lot of sugar and spicy brown mustard. So I know that
really?
Yeah, there is. Yes.
Is it more sugar than in the yellow mustard in the French's?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
probably why it's so
There you
good.
go.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm here for science, and that's science. But when you go to the park, you whether it's a margarita popsicle or whether it's or whatever it is, or Fruit Loops on a hot dog, you're throwing caution to the wind. So I say go for it. Like let's bring back the brown mustard.
Bring it back. But you're not. I'm guessing on your hot dog, you're not a brown mustard guy.
I'll dabble with the brown mustard on the hot dog.
Well, what's your go-to condiment?
I load it up, man. Like relish.
Okay.
I'll do the relish, brown mustard, and ketchup, the whole ball of wax.
All right. I like that. Relish is always key on a hot dog. That and onions.
All right.
Yeah, throw that on there as well. I mean, why not? The more the merrier on that, right?
All right, Rob Bradford. So we will hear you all 3 broadcasts this weekend. Is that correct?
All 3, yes. When it comes to the what is this? The Great Republic of the Washington D.C., I'm right at home. I'm going to go take a scooter around the Pentagon right now.
Okay.
All right.
Bradford, a little insight. You got to throw in some go-go references about the music in D.C. They love go-go.
Go-go? What is that?
Oh, really?
Go-go music. It's like a lot of instruments. It's like this like different jazz, hip-hop type of music that they play down there. Definitely make sure you throw some rare essence.
If this helps the show, I will, as soon as this call is done, I will go into the heart of Washington, D.C., and ask random people on the street if they know what go-go music is.
I think Mego knows about go-go.
Really?
Yeah, it's definitely it's like a huge thing. You know, Chuck Brown is another big go-go influence. So make sure you got some of those ready to go in your conversations. I know when things get a little slow.
All right, and rest easy. Curtis has ordered you a Peninsula Grill coconut cake for $270 as an
put it on
apology,
Ken's
and
tab.
it will arrive at the hotel tomorrow. All right.
What's it going to be laced with?
It's going to come with a dictionary that defines reliability.
All right.
I got one on the way. It has a big L on it. So there you go.
That's your podcast today.
The L cake. All right, Bradford.
All right,
thank you.
all right.
We'll talk to you
All right,
again
I'll see
next
you.
week. That is Rob Bradford.